See, well, we saw how weird these storms can be, but did you know this is something else kind of weird, that rattlesnakes love the monsoon?
Wow. Ugh.
They love the monsoon. Courtney is live now with more, and you know how Andrea feels about snakes.
She feels the same way.
Same way, really? Oh, come on.
I know. Well, we're just talking. This one looks dead, but it's not. And so they're saying if you open up this cage, it'll attack, and that's why I made that face, because they're just creepy to me. I'm not.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not too scared, but it's uncomfortable because they're just slimy and creepy, like little,
look at that thing.
snake.
Look at the look on his face.
Not slimy?
They can't sweat. They don't have any sweat glands.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's just my impression. What is this over here?
That is an albino eastern diamondback with a normal eastern diamondback.
Okay.
And then over there we have an albino western diamondback with a normal western diamondback.
Okay, so we're talking rattlesnakes today.
Yep.
Join with me is Russ. He's the man in charge over here. It's pretty creepy if you see one of these in your yard, but you're saying more and more popping up right now.
Yeah, the monsoons and the cooler weather make them move where they're moving more hours of the day, and then if we get a heavy rain, a lot of times they're displaced from low areas because they're afraid of getting caught in a flash flood. They can swim, but they don't enjoy the water. So they'll end up on your porch, which is a little elevated or something else like that, and they'll spend the day there waiting for nighttime to come around and start hunting rodents.
Oh, so what should somebody do if they see a snake and they're not sure what kind of snake it is?
Well, you know, just take a step back. The snake doesn't want to bite you. A rattlesnake has no inclination to bite you unless you antagonize it or surprise it, just like you stepping on a cat's tail. It turns around and bites you, that type of situation. But if you take one giant step back, you're out of strike range of any rattlesnake in Arizona.
Okay, but what if you need to get it off your property? You just leave? I mean, you have to keep track of it.
Well, you know, there's a number of organizations, including our own, that will go out and remove the snake and move in the desert, but we charge for that, and the money goes to help run the sanctuary here. In our case, we're a nonprofit, so it's tax deductible. But, you know, the idea of killing it, this is where we get a lot of people bit. They try to take a shovel with it, they hit it, and it get caught on the shovel, and it ends up getting on them themselves, or they try to do it themselves. Unless you've done this before, I wouldn't recommend doing any attempt at all. You can always go back inside the door and hope it moves on.
And you've been bit once, dare I say twice, you have. Tell us what it's like.
I've been bit twice. The first one was a very bad bite, so it was like being electrocuted and burned at the same time. So I spent about 5 days in the hospital on that one. But that was a mistake, and that wasn't here. I was doing some independent work, so I made what we call a rattle mistake. I got in a hurry, and you can't get in a hurry working with venomous, so it was very, very painful.
Well, let's take a walk and look at some of the rattlesnakes here. This whole wall is rattlesnakes?
Yeah, other than the copperhead and the moccasin down there, which are from out of state, you have various rattlesnakes from Arizona, some from Central and South America, and a few from eastern United States.
So they can kind of look like any kind of snake. I mean, you can't really determine that's definitely a rattlesnake because of the look, because they all look kind of different.
You can if you study them, but the layperson will not. The reason being is they're very cryptic, so they try to blend into their surroundings. And you'd be surprised how many hikers actually walk right by a rattlesnake and he doesn't make a sound. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to give away their position unless they feel intimidated.
Wow, interesting. So they'll always make the sound before they attack?
No. You know, snakes have no ears, so they can't hear you coming. So we've had people step in a bush or reach under a rock. It startles the snake, he bites, and then he rattles. So, you know, our mantra is it's physically impossible to be bitten by a rattlesnake if you don't put your hands or feet where you can't see. It's physically impossible.
Okay. And they're any size, it looks like?
Absolutely. We've got some very diminutive species like the twin spots and things like that. They're very, very small. And then you've got the western diamondback, which is our largest rattlesnake in Arizona.
Okay, so how can people get a hold of you if they do see a snake and they want to get rid of it?
Well, you know, they can call the hotline directly, which is 602-550-1090. We charge $75 to come out, and it's not let's make a deal. That's what it is. And we take them out in the desert and release them. The other thing they can do is take a good look at the snake. If they want to take a picture of it and send it to that number, I'll ID it for them and tell them, if it's a non-venomous snake, do you really want to pay $75 to move a gopher snake or king snake? So we will try to deter the move unless somebody just can't stand it. We don't want them killing it or anything else like that. But why waste the money on something that's no danger to you or your pet? So we offer that service also, and we'll respond to that as quickly as possible.
Okay, the number one more time.
It is 602-550-1090.
All right. Well, thank you for that information, guys. I got to get out of here. I'm a little creeped out.
I want to use his line with my kids. Hey, look, this isn't let's make a deal.
No. This is what it is.
Yeah, this is what it is.
That is a great line, isn't it?
I love it. I'm using that. I'm going to borrow that from now on. So about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little bit more, I walked out to my front lawn.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a big stick on it. I'm like, where'd this big stick come from? And as I get closer to it, it starts moving. And it was a big rattler, the biggest one I've ever seen in the wild.
Really?
It was on my front lawn. So I had 2 smaller kids at the time, and I'm thinking, I can't just leave this here. So I rode motocross. So I had these motocross big motorcycle boots. So I went and put my big motorcycle boots on. I grabbed my hoe and a shovel, and I go walking out there, and I'm grabbing it, trying to grab it. Oh, it was so mad. You want to hear the rattler go, it's like...
It was mad then.
I'm trying to grab it, yeah. So I've got all this desert in front of my house, but it's a little bit dropped below my front yard. So I grabbed it, and then I flung it over, and it hit on the other side.
Look at you, rattlesnake whisperer.
That was it.
That's as good as my baby rattlesnake story,
getting them out. She grabbed a baby rattlesnake with kitchen tongs.
Well, I didn't know it was a rattlesnake at the time. The kids were freaking out. They were riding their bikes in the front yard, and this little snake was. So I got kitchen tongs, put it in a bucket, flung it over the back wall into the wash. But I took a picture of it and sent it to Dr. Gray, Stafford, you know, former Wildlife World Zoo, and he sent back. He goes, "That was a baby rattlesnake."
Yeah, so nice going.
Oops.
You're lucky you didn't get bitten by the baby rattler. Those are cool rattlesnake stories.
Yeah, nice work.
Happy birthday to everybody celebrating a birthday today.